Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Mike Beer, the co-feature at Keeneland on opening day Friday, race number 8. It's the Grade 2 Phoenix for sprinters. Let's take a look at this field. We're heading 6 furlongs, $250,000 is the purse. Mike, I want to start talking about the horse on the far outside. That's the number 11, Whitmore, who began this season like he was going to emerge as one of the better sprinters in the country. He finished third in the True North as the favorite. That race preceded a little bit of a layoff, and he came back in the De Francis last time out. He was 1-2 in a very short field, and maybe you could make the argument short field, not a lot of pace, layoff. It all worked against Whitmore, but I was somewhat discouraged by the lack of finish.
Yeah, me too. I don't think he ran that well in that race. I hear what you're saying. It's only a 4-horse field. He was off a bit of a layoff in that race. He was always down towards the inside. I don't know. I guess there are ways to look at it and say, well, as a starting off point, it wasn't that bad. I wanted to see him run better than that. I don't think he ran well at all. I know he was third in the True North. He was basically a no-factor third in that race at even money. Listen, I think everybody sort of realizes that if he bounces back and runs his best race and he's capable of doing that, then he can win this race. The real question, though, is do you want to bet on him doing that? I don't really want to bet on him doing that as one of the favorites.
I don't want to bet on him as one of the favorites, but I would have to use him in any kind of multiple race bet, especially considering this time form U.S. pace projector. We are expecting a fast pace in this Phoenix. Whitmore, the number 11, well, he's going to be at the back of the pack, and if this pace kind of falls apart, the old Whitmore we know, the one that's capable of running those 4 consecutive triple-digit Beyer speed figures, he can easily win. I like the way he's been handled by his trainer. It looked like he was crying out for a layoff, even when he won the Maryland Sprint and then third in the True North, sort of drifting on the turns like something wasn't right. They gave him the break. He came back. Now it's second off the layoff. He's going to kick, you would think, in the stretch. The Timeform U.S. pace projector has the number 7, Favorite Tail, on the lead, and I'm going to have to agree 100% because if there's one thing about Favorite Tail, he is wickedly fast out of the gate. He was third in the Breeders' Cup Sprint over this course in 2015, and last time out, it was his first race in a year and a half, and he ran okay.
Yeah, not too bad as a starting off point. That was obviously a very long layoff, and he got to the front in that race. They didn't make him go too fast. I think they were really worried about that layoff. They didn't make him go that fast in there, and then he couldn't hold on behind a horse, the man who's just in really sharp form right now. He just couldn't hold the horse again. I thought he ran fine. He will have to improve off that race. He can improve off that race. He's a big contender in this race, but there was, again, there's a lot of other speed in this race, and I wonder if he's going to be able to cope with that.
Is there too much speed for him in here? Although one of the horses in closest attendance, the number 3, Seventh Sense, is a 30-1 long shot on the morning line. 5th last time out in a race at Ellis Park. The 4th place finisher came back. He was stakes placed at Mountaineer, but only with an 85. Maybe he is an annoyance to Favorite Tail, but you would have to think that just based on the PPs, Favorite Tail will at some point shrug off Seventh Sense.
Yeah, I can't imagine that horse giving him too much of a struggle. I mean, that horse, he's posted both of his career wins in front-running fashion, but well, he looks like he's a little slow in this race.
Chad Brown is the number 2, 3-5 Indy, and this horse has the stalking ability to work out a nice trip in the second flight, a la his most recent start at Saratoga. This is a horse that, let's be honest, he looked good as a 3-year-old. He had disappointed in his first few starts this year. He got a great setup, tracking all by himself last time out in third behind a dueling pair. He got by them in the stretch. The Beyer was competitive with a 98. 3-5 India with a similar trip could be dangerous at 6-1 on the morning line.
He really could work out a similar trip in this race. And it's funny because his first 3 starts back this year as a 4-year-old, I think you could look at all of them and be a little disappointed in those races, but there are ways to look at them and give him excuses. He had everything go right last time, and he did what he was supposed to do. He still only ran a 98, though. I mean, I kind of wanted to see him sort of break through with a better performance and a faster performance than that, because I don't think if he runs that race back in here that he's going to win. Maybe he'll take a step forward in this race. I don't even actually think that 6-1's a great price on him, Dan. We'll see where he sort of settles when the betting's all said and done.
The number 1 is Awesome Banner. If you didn't like Whitmore's race in the De Francis, you couldn't have liked Awesome Banner's. He was up on that sort of moderate pace. He backed it up to finish last in the field of 4. While he was second in the Grade 1 Vanderbilt 2 starts back, he was no match for El Deal, and you could easily make the argument that he rode the golden rail throughout.
Yeah, he really did. I mean, this horse, to me, I just don't really like any of his recent races. I don't like him that much in this race at all.
The 6, Richard the Great, popped a big Beyer speed figure against Restricted Company at Gulfstream Park 2 starts back. To me, I think he rode a very speed-friendly track, and when he came back in the Groomstick handicap last time out, he was beaten at a very short price. There's a bit of a class question he's got to address.
Yeah, I know he's got that figure 2 starts back that says he has a chance in here, but that that figure stands out a little bit too much to me in his PPs. He was disappointing last time. He's got speed. I mean, there's a chance that he could make things hard on some of the other speed horses in this race, but I don't like him that much.
In uncontested 3 one-turn races on dirt, you've got a career debut over this course where he won by 6 lengths, an 89 Beyer speed figure as a 2-year-old. A good third in the Grade 3 Pat Day Mile over a wet track. And then last time out at Churchill Downs, a nice, solid, optional claiming race. He's sort of like Takafel in a way, where you look at his 2-turn races and you're like, he's not that good. You look at his sprints, he's okay.
Yeah, I agree with that. They turned him back last time, and it wasn't, you know, it wasn't the most visually impressive win last time, and it wasn't that fast, only an 86 Beyer, but you know he's better than that. You know he's faster than that. And I was sort of encouraged, you know, he had the far outside post in that race. They let him rate early, and they did not try and make the lead with him. He just sort of sat way out into the track and didn't go until they made it into the stretch, and then he was, you know, the best at the end of the day in there. I think he's a big threat to take a big step forward in this race. He's the horse I'm going to use at a price.
You know I'm a huge fan of the number 10, It's the Journey.
Yeah,
he's won his last 4 races, and he's just looked so good. Visually, 2 starts back, winning with an 89, and then visually, and then fast with a 96 Beyer speed figure at Laurel, going 7 furlongs. He has an ideal post position and an ideal running style for this race. I've liked him so much, I've made him a best bet, a horse watch on out of the gate. I do have concerns about whether he is ready to step up and handle this kind of class. I thought maybe Maryland Million Sprint.
Right. Well, that's probably right, but they don't have to be conservative with him. They're going to take a shot here. I can't blame them based off his last 4 races. If you're going to try a race like, you know, a graded stakes race sprinting, you might as well do it when you're in this kind of form. This horse is in very good form right now. It doesn't make him good enough to beat these horses, but you're right. There's a lot of things that sort of point to him maybe outrunning his odds in this race.
Indiana-bred Mr. Manning figures to be a long shot. He's a really nice horse in the exacta 12 of 21, but it just appears he's in a bit tough.
Yeah, they're probably just taking a shot here. I'm not sure it's going to work out.
Let's take a look at our top selections for the Stall Keenan Ogden Phoenix Stakes. $250,000 is the purse. I understand where you're coming from with the number 4, Loose on the Town. This is a horse that's good on dirt, he's good on turf, but didn't he just do all the work in the Tail of the Cat Stakes 2 starts back, only to be pipped by a very nice horse and favored stall walking dude? I thought that was a breakthrough performance for Loose on the Town.
You know, I did too, and that's why I'm going to go back to him in this race. I thought he really ran well in that race, as you point out. So he did all the dirty work in there, and then he couldn't hold off stall walking dude at the end, but he ran really well in there. His start prior to that, when they switched him back to dirt, he just stumbled very badly at the start that day, so he put a line through that one. Dan, I don't even think this horse is very good on the grass. You know, they've tried him on turf several times. He's fine. He's won on it a couple times. I think he's a way better dirt horse, and I'm glad they're coming back to the main track with him here. It's just one of those races where I don't love the favorites. I don't like Whitmore all that much in this race. 3-5 India, who I expect will take money, doesn't really do that much for me. I want to give this horse one more chance in a race like this.
Well, I'm interested in your thoughts on Limousine Liberal, who was beaten a dirty nose in this race last year by AP Indian, and I don't think there are any AP Indians in this year's edition of the Phoenix. Very quietly, Limousine Liberal has been conservatively handled by Ben Colbrook this year, but it's resulted in 3 wins, 2 of the graded variety. And in the Vanderbilt, wasn't he just I thought he was bumped very hard at the start, and then he was just on the deepest part of the track all the way around. While El Deal and Awesome Banner rode the rail, Limousine Liberal was wide, and that was a gold rail. I think he's better than that Vanderbilt appears, and I think he's got the right running style for this race.
All those things are true. He's the horse to beat in this race. I much prefer him to a horse like Whitmore, and they might be similar prices in this race. He was just way against things in the Vanderbilt last time, so I'm not going to hold that race against him. I'll admit that I'm not his biggest fan. I don't think he's, you know, some kind of superstar sprinter, but he's pretty good. He fits really well in this field, and they've done right by him this year. You know, maybe they've been a little too conservative for my liking, but this is the right race to run him in, and he's the horse to beat.
5-2-4-10 for me. Mike's going to go with the 4, Loose on the Town, 12-1 on the morning line in race number 8 at Keeneland on opening day, the Grade 2 Phoenix. It has an approximate post time of 4:57 Eastern. Good luck.